Okay, welcome back to Secret of Mana 2018. And why does my stream say it's not online? There we go. Let me just make sure my sound level's okay. And why does my stream say it's not online? Okay, we're good. Okay, let's do this. We're gonna do episode 2 today. So I did a little work off camera. I got to Pandora. We left off in Dwarf Village. Got to Pandora here. The main reason I did that off camera was just to do a little spell leveling. And as you can see, Prem is, well, both Sprite and Prem are very close to level 1 with both spells. So, you know, I'm just kind of using the strategy of anytime a save is coming up to go ahead and use up all of my magic points. Okay, so I was supposed to go to Pandora, according to both Gemma and, or I guess it was Luca, and according to what the girl wants to do here. So what we're going to do is we're going to go to the throne room. Now, we could explore the castle, and I encourage you to do that if you've never played before.
This is Pandora.
The Empire attacked us once about 15 years ago.
You know, it's interesting, some good
Scarlet
backstory.
coming back? Did you know there's an enormous tree called a...
But, you know, most of this is just window dressing. Really what we want to do is we want to come over here, and this is, of course, where we got the girl, Karen, or Prem, I should say.
Something evil lives in the ruins in...
Learn about this ruin to the south. So there's that. This is Prem's room. I like how it's a table and 3 chairs. There's no bed or anything. And here's the throne room. I'm gonna pop in here first and just kind of check this out. Okay, nice little room with fireplace. I like the feel. Like, I love the textures and everything that they put into this. And the 3D is really smooth. Like, it feels good. Okay.
You're here. I suppose you've seen the state of the townspeople, yes? Once their energy is spent, the people seem to congregate near the ruins in the southern part of town. I'm heading there now to assess the situation. But be careful. That place isn't safe. And whatever you do not follow me.
Yeah, so we're not supposed to follow him.
What a nightmare. My people are acting like zombies. Oh, my head.
This was such a peaceful country.
It's really interesting playing a game you played when you were younger and having voice actors.
King Lucas troubled as he...
This is the treasure vault.
Oh no. If the Empire were to try to invade...
So the concern is that the zombie condition is weakening the security of the people in this country. So, you know, the game kind of leaves you hanging here, although you can kind of read between the lines. Basically, we're going to follow Gemma into the ruins in the south, try to solve this mystery about what's going on. Now, before we do that, let me pull something up for you. This is weapon orb list. So, you know, if you go through this, we got one from the Mantis Ant, we got one from Tropiccolo, got one from Spiky Tiger, got one from the Fire Gigas, and one from Biting Lizard. So that means the next ones are this one, the Thieves Ship here, Wallface, Kilroy, you know, and I can tell you right now that that's just not, none of these are, we're not likely to miss any of those. So, you know, it's just something you want to think about when you're playing through this, is making sure you get all. The main one that people miss is at the point in the game where we're going up against the Empire in their homeland. So just kind of keep an eye out for that. Okay, now we need to... I can't remember exactly, but there's a particular townsperson we need to talk to. These people are all zombified. Poor children. Little flavor for you there. Unnecessary to go in there though. Here we go.
Pamela? What's the matter?
The ruins are down there.
In the original, her name was Fanha, but they changed it to Pamela in this for some reason, which doesn't make sense to me. It kind of sounds like how Borat pronounced Pamela Anderson's name. And this guy has like a weird mask on, that's creepy. These people are all zombies. I love how 5 villagers congregating constitutes quote-unquote congregating.
Oh, they say I'm going to be sacrificed. Pretty neat, huh?
You're going to be what?
Stop whining.
Hey, Pamela!
I like that sacrificed thing. That's cute. Okay.
We have to hurry.
Up to this point in the game, those guys would not let you pass, but since we got the plot to go forward, we can actually go in now. Okay, so here we are in the ruins. New class of enemy here, so you want to be careful for sure. These guys are almost impossible to hit. Alright, so we're continuing our effort to level these weapons. Let's get the glove on that. Again, even though you can kind of land a blow, you cannot do damage because their defense is so high. There's some right there. You have to basically crit them, and even then you only get 5. This room is just for show. And we're going to start to see occasional magic use. And so you definitely want to keep your eye on the HP of your party. Okay, there's a main door there. There's also this other side door here. Check this out if you want, you don't have to.
No way. Yeah.
These swords have a good offense, so you want to be careful. Especially if you're one of the weaker characters like Sprite here. But these are a good opportunity to get some levels before the game progresses, so you might as well kill a few of them. And some money as well. We're building up a pretty good war chest, actually, at this point. Okay. So for her, let's do the whip. The whip will help keep her safer too. which is nice. And, you know, tentatively my plan is to use only healing spells and try to avoid using the candy unless we run out of spell points. Right now she has, I guess 4 more rounds of healing she could do. And of course, if you get a level, you do get your spell points back, so now we're back up to full MP there. And actually, that's a good point. If I'm anywhere close to leveling, I should be using my magic points as well. That's a pro tip that's a little bit more advanced, probably. There's another dungeon in this game called the Imperial Ruins, so it's like, this is the Pandora Ruins, but the Imperial Ruins comes up later, and it's easy to kind of mentally get confused between the two. I'm just skipping those tomato guys. This is the only fork in the road that I can recall in this area. I usually like to check this room out first if I remember correctly. Yeah, this is just a window dressing room. There's nothing in here. These swords do have somewhat small hitboxes. Go ahead and use a healing spell.
Pure water.
Okay. And let me switch him to, I guess, glove. There's that, oh, boomerang, I mean. I think the boomerang has a higher chance to hit than most other weapons, so I seem to remember having a little bit more success hitting these guys with the boomerang in the past, but whatever, I'm not gonna waste a lot of time. I don't think there's anything under here. And a nice job with the multi-level.
Feeling power of Undi. Pure water.
Alright, we're good. Let's move on. A nice job with those 3D overhangs is what I was gonna say. There we are. Okay, and we're about done with the main part of this area. Ow.
This is the end.
Crap. Okay. Well, that's why we have these cups of wishes. Just got fireballed by some enemy somewhere. By the way, if you happen to not get a couple of cups of wishes from those drops from those wolf guys, I'd recommend buying at least 2 before you come here. Okay. Now we meet this
Thanatos,
guy.
I presume.
Indeed. I've heard much about you. You have beaten LNA, which means you are no ordinary fools.
Hand over Pamela and Diluc, and stop whatever you're doing to the people of the kingdom.
How amusing. You show some spirit at least. I suppose this is the Pamela to whom you were referring. Unfortunately for you, I've already drained her energy. She's now my faithful servant.
How could you?
I love this guy. He clearly has like a baby face under that mask, and purple hair, and like a weird, relatively effeminate robe with skeleton stuff on it, but he sounds like an old man.
Sealed under this altar is the energy collected from the people. Resistance is a waste of time. Submit to the Empire now, or you too will face utter destruction. It's only a matter of time before all nations fall before the might of the fortress. Then there will be order. Without life force, no one has a chance against a might such as ours.
Okay. And there's Diluc. We met him earlier, of course.
He was a difficult one to crack. I hear LNA had a hard time with him too. Could this soldier be... Things are becoming more interesting.
The game implies something here that I don't think it really explores. It might have been cut for content in the original. And that is that Diluc was some sort of person of fortune or
You
very
three
special
are
person.
entertaining in your own way. I believe I'll take your energy as well.
Okay. So here we
Your
are.
Life force will be collected in that room. Don't struggle.
Okay, and we do have a boss battle here, and it's this wall. Now, I will tell you right now that this boss is actually harder than it looks, especially if you don't have especially if you don't have let me just hold on. I was gonna say, especially if you don't have fairy walnuts, which allow you to restore your magic. I'm gonna have the boy use level 2 sword attacks. And I'm gonna have her use level 2 spear attacks. And I'm gonna switch over to this.
Keep it coming.
And what you want to do, I think, if I remember correctly, is you do kind of want to kill off these side eyeballs first. Okay. Ultimately... Oh, man. Ultimately, you need to kill this middle eye. But it's hard to hit when it's, and I don't think you can hit it when it's not open.
Keep it coming.
Now there is a bit of a unique thing about this boss battle, and that is, if you don't kill it fast enough, it pushes you into the spikes, and you have to start from your last save. So we do definitely want to be careful here.
Keep it coming.
Pure water.
Thanks.
Fortunately, this wall is healing itself, but the good news, I guess, is it's using up its magical energy. And we're already out of MP, that's great.
Your turn, no? Gem missile.
Take that.
You asked for it.
Oh, this is what I'm talking about right here.
Keep it coming.
We need to hurry. There we go. Boy, that was a close one. See, we were really close to those spikes there. I don't know if I've ever gotten that close to dying on that boss before. I have died on him before, but I don't think I've ever... I was really worried there for a second. So, that was exciting. Okay, we do get the Bow's orb there.
I see. So this child is the new wielder of the Mana Sword. How quaint. A ragtag bunch of kids playing around like they're the heroes of legend. I'll withdraw for the time being. You may have your village, but I will take these two.
Wait! No! Stop!
Until we meet again.
Okay, so Thanatos is the boss's main antagonist, actually. He's originally framed as this
Hello.
Character that is a assistant to the Emperor. Here's Gemma.
Gemma!
But we learn later that he's actually behind the Empire's domination of the world.
I let my guard down.
I guess Gemma got
Thanatos is
zombified too for a minute.
Best and most fearsome generals. I had no idea they'd sent him. It's strange to see such underhanded tactics from the Empire. Why steal life energy from people? The Empire wants to break the seals and resurrect the Mana Fortress. They don't need Thanatos for that. All that is certain is that if Thanatos is here, his forces can't be far behind. This land is in danger. This bodes ill. In any case, you should return to Lucas. I'm off to the underground palace.
Okay, so with that dungeon out of the way, and that's one of the more, you know, quintessential parts of this early game period, which I still consider us in right now. But with that, our Pandora music has shifted. We have this happy music in Pandora now instead of the sad music from earlier. This store, the owner was zombified previously. Now he will sell us stuff. I didn't show you that, but trust me. And we can buy a couple things, and what we want are 3 of these Cobra bracelets.
Anything else?
I'm also gonna buy a couple of those.
Come again.
Okay, so and what the Cobra bracelet is, it's the best armor in the game now. This is what I thought those wolf guys dropped as well earlier. So now we're all decked out in the best armor in the game once again. I always like to keep up on that. Okay, next thing we want to do for sure is head back to the castle. Now there's really 3 locations of consequence in this game right now. They are Gaia's Navel, or I should say the Dwarf Village down there, the Water Palace, and I guess Pandora. Pandora being the least important of the 3 for purposes of this plot. So, what I'm saying is, if you don't know quite what to do next, check out one of those three places. And I think what we'll do is check out the Water Palace next, see how Luca's doing, and then I don't quite remember if we go there next or Dwarf Village again.
Hope has returned to my kingdom. What Gemma said about you and the Mana Sword, as the legends foretold, we will bestow. We've guarded these for.
Okay, so the king gives us access to his treasure room. And we have 6 treasure boxes. This is one of the most exciting parts of the game when I was like a child. 50, 50, 50. So that's $200. And the sword orb, and the spear orb. Awesome. Okay, so we definitely want to have Watts fix this up with some weapon upgrades. And we will, and I promise we will, but since we haven't done that yet, I guess he's maxed out, isn't he? So he doesn't matter. No, he needs to do that. And I'll go back to the glove. And she can go to the weapon. Okay. So we're still we'll still be leveling things until the boy maxes out his boomerang, and then even if we have a small period of inefficiency, the other characters can catch up during that time. During the battle, by the way, we did level our defensive Undyne and our gnome offense magic there with Sprite. So we're level 1 and 1 with Sprite, level 1 and 0 with Prem. It's so weird for me to have the characters named what they're named in this, because I'm used to calling him Sprite and Karen and Josyph for the boy, my name. But with the default names, it's a little different for me. As you can see, by the way, Sprite's MP has gone up to 12, which is something that happens slowly over time. Your MP goes up. So it started at 11 and now it's at 12. I am going to go ahead and use up my MP on this little walk. Okay. And almost done with that. Once I get Gnome up to 2, obviously I would switch to Undyne. But getting to 2 takes longer than getting to 1. I think does that mean it's a logarithmic scale? I can't remember exactly how that works, but so I'm not a mathematician, but and I guess I'll use up her. Nice. These enemies become super easy, obviously, at this point.
Okay.
$14. This is where I met the girl initially during that goblin attack, so it's kind of interesting. I think it's the first time they've walked, maybe the second time they've walked past there. Actually, it's probably the second time if we took the shortcut from the haunted forest earlier. Now here's Nico's. I hadn't shown you this yet, but this is the origin of that cat merchant that we keep seeing around. Cute little house in the middle of the woods. And what I think I'm going to do here is I'm going to buy one fairy walnut.
Oh, you're interested. Perfectly priced items.
So I'm going to buy one of these. This is... The thing with him, he's located in much more accessible locations, but his prices are double everywhere else. So you don't want to overdo it with shopping here, but I'm just buying that for safety in case I find myself in a jam and I need another round of healing or something. So I'm going to go ahead and stay the night as well to restore my MP. You don't have to do this, but you can. Let's see if we get a cutscene here. Yes, we do.
It's so weird talking to Luca. I can't wrap my head around the idea that she's hundreds of years old.
Never seen a granny like her.
First time we met, I didn't realize that was Luca until Gemma got mad at me.
What's her secret? Whoa! What's with the serious expression? I don't care how old I get, as long as I never look like Elena. I've got it! It must be the lake around the water palace. Undine must... That must be it! I'll just take up swimming in the lake every day and... Look out, world! This fresh-faced girl is gonna... What is she talking about this time?
I wasn't gonna ask.
You guys have something to say?
No, nothing.
There are some things we just don't need to wonder.
What a lovely conversation. And we'll go ahead and get some sleep here, and this will give us a chance to save as well. Okay. Okay, so now that we are back in business here, I am going to hold on, at least for now, hold on to my magic points, because I don't quite remember the sequence of events at this point. It's about right here in the game where I kind of start to get a little foggy with what happens next and such. Okay, we're maxed out on candy, good to know. Alright. So we'll head on up here. The next couple of parts of this game are, fairly fast-paced. We'll get into a few boss fights very quickly here.
Oh, this is horrible. Someone has taken the mana seed of water.
So she might have told us about this at some point, but I don't remember.
This crime doesn't seem like the Empire's usual trickery. Oh, someone must have snuck in and stolen the seed while Undine's barrier was weakened. You must not let that seed fall into the rock. Wait, I see it. The seed is in the depths of Gaia's navel.
Okay, so we need to go to Gaia's navel and retrieve the water seed here. So that's good to know. And so we will avail ourselves of the nearby cannon travel. That also, by the way, gives us a chance to get our magic used up once again. So every single time that you're in a area where you can do this, you might as well use up your magic between saving areas. That's not what I meant to do. Okay, so that's going to be level 2 gnome, which is great. Obviously, once you get your magic completely leveled, you don't need to continue. You know, and it might be a little bit slower than hitting them with your weapons, but it really does pay off in the end. What I'm curious about is why Sprite has 12 and why Karen only has 11. Okay, so that's going to be Gnome level 1, I think. Yeah, so she leveled Gnome to level 1. I'm not nearly as worried about leveling Undine because that's going to happen naturally because she's going to be healing us all the time. So I'm basically just spamming Gnome right now to get that commensurate with what Undine's going to be. nothing says great live stream like spamming magic to grind levels, but anyway. Okay. How are we doing on weapon levels? She's good. She is good on that, so she needs to do the axe. And then he is on boomerang and still has a little ways to go. Okay, we're good. Oh.
Hey there. Special offer just for you. Guy isn't able.
Okay, so we're gonna head over to the dwarf village now. Unfortunately, again, they cut this sequence of us flying through the air, which makes no sense to me. Like, they could have half-assed it. I don't know why they didn't just put some filler there. We're gonna go this way. We don't need to spam or grind our way through the enemies in the cave again. Doing well on money. We do have about 3, maybe 4 weapons we can level up here.
I've been waiting.
Okay, the sword is now the Herald Sword, and the Sprite Spear, the Iron Bow. I want to show you something else real quick too. I think that's all. As you can see in the bottom, under Type Sword, then it says Inflict Stigma on Slimes and Lizards. Tough-skinned, Slimes and Lizards. So as we start to get these leveled up, they start to have little bonus effects. Like the Sprite Spear is going to balloon animals, which is awesome. Let's go ahead and grab a quick snooze. Now Luca told us that she foresaw the mana seed being located here in Dwarf Village. So probably what that means is that we're gonna have to go find where the seed is being.
Wish I could use magic.
How could I didn't realize you couldn't use magic as. Don't worry, we can clean up all those annoying enemies for you.
But I wanted to clean up enemies.
Don't pout. I'll cast some magic on your way. Yeah, as long as we help each other out, we'll be invincible. What a nice sentiment. Ugh. Good thing you didn't get attack mad. What? If you use too much strong magic, you'll turn into a scary witch for sure. And here I thought I'd take back everything I said before.
Come on, cut them some slack.
Oh, you're going to take their side?
That's so weird, the pronoun. The pronoun just throws me off. They should have just stuck with the male pronoun. Okay. Now with that, we can head down here. And talk to this guy.
I'll be. How to hold this bit?
Oops. I meant to talk to Gemma there, but you can just go ahead and hit that hole. Now, one thing you want to keep in mind here is this is like a ship, right? It's like some sort of digging ship, I guess. But there is a, I don't want to say secret, but, you know, possible to miss chest there. Like, if you came around this side and you just went right through that door, you could miss this chest. So you want to definitely pick this chest up. And it's kind of a one-off thing. Let me show you what I'm talking about here. Hold on. Okay, so as you can see, where is it? Okay, we're gonna get the Javelin's Orb here from Kilroy in a second, but Thieves' ship, we just got that Whip's Orb there, so... Okay. Here we meet these guys.
Aha! The water seed!
How'd you get in here? You realize we ain't letting you leave now that you found our secret hideout.
You brats have come to the right place. The Scorpion Army is gonna rule the world. That's us.
So the game introduces this thing called the Scorpion Army, inexplicably, without any backstory whatsoever, who just randomly showed up and stole the seed. And I feel like, again, some of the context for this was cut.
Yeah.
Or at least maybe
Shut your
later on,
pie-hole.
it doesn't connect up very well.
It was us who took your Now, thanks to its awesome power, we call it Kilroy the Indomitable. Take him out.
Yeah. Alright. So we get this Kilroy the Indomitable, created from the power of the magic seed.
Boss, there's an energy.
What? Just take the seed out and use them.
Okay. So this one, according to the guides, you know, and you can look this up if you want, but this boss does not technically have a weakness. So I guess, or if it is, it's one of the ones that we don't have yet. So in other words, magic isn't going to be overwhelming. But I do have a level 2 Earth Slug. So let's test that out and see how well it works. Yeah, 116, not bad. I'm gonna go ahead and use Freeze for the last 2 because I want to level that spell. It's kind of sad that I'm more worried about leveling the spell in the middle of the boss fight than I am about actually killing the boss. But what you want to do is you want to just position yourself to get these nice weapon shots. And then you want to stay out of dodge because those mallets are dangerous. And he moogles you too. And there we go. Got the achievement as well. So not a terribly difficult fight, honestly. Nice animations there, game. Okay. I don't know why it takes so long to do the heal animation there. We do get the Javelin Orb there.
Aw, nuts.
So we did get the seed back, and
Let's
we got...
bring this back to the Water Palace.
Thank goodness you're safe. Gemma? He rushed off with the Pandoran soldiers.
Okay, so... we're gonna go ahead and, let's just get this out of the way. Excuse me, sorry. We didn't even have to use the healing in that battle. We're actually just about maxed out with magic level, which is awesome because our next magic will be coming up in a little while. But it's really nice to be on top of the game. Excuse me. Also, even though I talk about the exponential rate of magic gaining, the truth is that if you stay on top of it, every time you get a new elemental, you only have to learn roughly all that you've learned up to that point. What I mean is, there we go. That I'm gonna go ahead and save. So we've learned 4. We will have learned 4 levels of magic per character. And when we get the 3rd one, our max cap goes from 4 to 9, which is an increase of 5. So we're basically learning 5 new levels.
I still haven't forgiven you for that joke with Gnome earlier.
Which means 2 levels for the old ones, and then 3 new ones for the new one.
Huh?
Lighten up, sis. You're still worried about that? It's a big deal to... You know I only have eyes for Dyla. I know. But Gnome didn't mean anything by...
Besides, it's not like you're married.
Of course not.
Well then, who cares?
I care. If Dyla occurred...
He'd probably understand that it was a...
You don't understand. You guys are for... Oh, hey, Gnome got me thinking about mana seeds. I figured it. Can I taste the next one? Don't change the
That's weird. Weird banter yet again from our team of adventurers. Alright. So, now what we want to do is head back to the Water Palace. Probably the best way to go about that. Actually, let me just check one thing.
Thank goodness, Gemma. He... Thank good, Gemma.
Later, excuse me. Later in the game, he'll give us some an object item that we can use. I guess not quite yet though. So let's head on up. I think I will hang on to my spell points for now. You can just run through here too if you want. You don't have to kill every enemy. And unlike the original game, you don't have to, you know, usher your people the way through here. We're gonna go to the cannon travel. So we're gonna go up here. We haven't. I don't know if we've used this one before. If we if we have, it's only been like once. Okay.
Welcome. It's
Water Palace.
Water Palace.
Okay. We have officially arrived at the Water Palace. Let me just check. Yeah, we're still okay though. On weapon level. I think these are the same fish that were in that cave where we got Undyne. Okay. So it's odd that there's enemies, and this is a new one. This is a thugfish, I believe. It's odd that there are enemies outside of the Water Palace here. And now inside the Water Palace. Better heal up. Actually, I just need it on,
Water. Your water.
He leveled this boomerang here, so I want to change that. Let's have him get the sword up to level 3. He's the classic hero with the sword. Okay. So something's very different, obviously, with the enemies in here and with the music. Okay, and what do we have here? We have 5 Imperial guards and this blue hair emo guy who we will find out is guest star.
Well, well, who have we here? I'm Geshtar of the Vandal Empire.
I love this guy. He's such a great character.
Hand over that seed if you want Luca to survive this encounter.
Don't do it!
Attaboy. So glad to see the seed still safe and sound in this.
Stop!
There.
So they broke the seal, whatever that means, on the seed.
Take care of my pets as a reward for making it this far.
I think, yeah, I think he's an Undying elemental enemy anyway, so probably Undying is not going to work very well.
Water. Pure water. No.
Oh man. We're getting our ass kicked. Okay, whenever I start getting my... Whenever I start dying, I revert to spamming magic. So what we're gonna do... Revive Sprite, and then we're gonna spam Earth Slide. And I'm gonna go ahead and cast another heal, and then another Earth Slide. And another, I guess I'll do that. Well. Boy, that magic is killer. So, I think to be on the safe side, I'm going to go ahead and use this. Now, these are those fairy walnuts are super expensive in the early game, but they're not expensive at all relative to everything else in the later game. So it's kind of a balance issue. But okay, there we go. Yeah, that was a close one actually. We almost got wiped there as a party. But we did pick up the achievement. That's Jabberwocky. And of course we're going to get another weapon orb. Okay. By the way, there's this thing here. This is a little prison. I think they might have tweaked how they use this, because in the original, I think they put Luca back here in this cell. Or I could be wrong. In this version, they don't. Maybe in the original they didn't either, I'm just misremembering it. But anyway, that's what that is, just so you know.
Now use the sword to
So I guess they broke the seed's power, but then they just let me restore it. So, once again, great evil villain there. Okay.
Rejoice, men! The Imperial forces have drawn back. We managed to defeat their monsters in Pandora, too. One of them dropped this. You should take it.
So we got a whip sword. I don't remember that.
We're running out of time. You need to restore the sword now.
Alright.
I'll return to my home country and do what I can to stop the Empire. If they manage to rebuild the fortress, the Mana Sword is the world's last hope. Talk to the Cannon Travelman in Potos. He'll be able to send you to the Upper Land.
So for the first time in the game, a whole new area is going to be unlocked, and this is what I consider the conclusion of the early game.
The Empire's on the move. Go to the highest peak of the lofty mountains and find Sage Jock. He will teach you the true courage of a hero.
So Luca's giving us a longer-term mission.
You must visit all 8 of the world's palaces and synchronize your sword with the mana seeds.
And we still have this
It will be a
ongoing
long
goal
and
with the
difficult journey,
mana powers.
but you must persevere for the sake of the world.
Okay, so with that, we are going to go to the Upper Land, but before we do, we need to stop by Dwarf Village real quick. So let's head to the Cannon Travel. By the way, let me just do this. There are no more bosses in this area, so I'm going to go ahead and just use up my magic one last time.
Defender! Protect us, Gnome! Defender!
We should be pretty close on Gnome here. One more. Let's see how close we are. I bet you we're like right on the tail of leveling that one up. Go to the blue staff there. Okay, yeah, we're 80%, so pretty close. Undyne has a little way to go, but that's going to come along naturally. So, okay, let's go ahead and move. The enemies are now gone from the Water Palace, obviously. And I think they're also gone from this screen in front, yes. So we need to head over to the Cannon Travel. I'm not going to bother getting a replacement Fairy Walnut because we're going to be able to buy it for half price, or what I should say is regular price, not double price, very soon. Okay, that's all the way up. Let me try to get the Undine up to level 2. That's not what I meant to do. Okay, and there we go. So we're now maxed out with Sprite's magic level. Might be the last time I'm gonna say that for a while, to be honest with you, but still pretty awesome. Okay, and here we are at the Cannon Travel. Now this will take us to the Upper Land for sure, but we're also gonna, it'll also continue to take us to Gaia's Navel.
Hey there, special offer just for you. Only 50.
Or not, I guess. So I guess I'll have to go the long way. I think what I'll do is I'll just, I'm gonna bypass anything that's not a Rabite, basically. Anything that's not a one-shotter. And that should kind of minimally level up our weapons, but also, you know, allow us to move fairly quickly. Okay, those are at 2. By the way, you don't have to go back to Gaia's Navel at this point. You can just move on and go to the Upper Land, and that's probably the right move if you're trying to play this for speed or whatever. But we're playing for thoroughness, and I want to get this one item that I think is now available. Okay, let's get the candy back up to full, I think. just gonna move on. And we're gonna quickly run through this town. I mean, I could save and spam Karen's magic. Maybe I should do that.
One night is...
We'll just go ahead and do that.
Oh, dialogue.
Oh, Lord.
Dialect.
You wanna know? Great. Now she'll never stop.
Huh?
So, he's the coolest soldier in the ranks. He always asks how I'm doing. One time, I tripped over a brand. I still remember that sweet tone he used when he asked if I was... Oh, but he's also... When we took a streak,
This is getting a little ridiculous.
You should hear what Dialogue listens to his... He's the perfect captain of the guard. I asked him if he was tired. He said, I'm happy. I thought my... And then there was this...
I don't think I've ever seen... Uh-oh. Our little sprite's falling asleep.
Hey!
That's funny. Okay. Blah, blah, blah. Have a rest. I wish they'd speed this animation up a bit. But it's all good. We are doing well on time, I think. 1 hour, yep. So we're good. Oops, sorry. Alright. Moving right along. Nice. Got another medical herb. I haven't had to use any of those, really. Like, the last time I remember being poisoned was before I even had a single medical herb. Axe is at level 1. Bomb there. Those traps start to do less and less damage over time, just because you're getting better armor and better defense stats from leveling. That would be candy, so I don't need it. Alright.
Protect us, no? Defender! Defender!
By the way, I was at 80%. Let me show you this, just to kind of prove the concept here. I'm now at 96%. That means that I gained 16. That means each time I cast this, it does 8%. So, I mean, you can do the math on that, but basically this one's definitely going to level me up. There it is. And we can do a similar math on the Undyne. So, we're at 24%, level 1 and 24%. So if we do this, and we do this, that was a 2 magic point spell. And we went from, what was it, 24% to 32%, so that was 8 points from a 2 MP spell. What if we did a 1 MP spell?
Remedy.
Will we get 8 points again and be up at 40? Yes, we will. So the point I'm trying to demonstrate is that it doesn't matter how many magic points the spell costs, just the number of spells total, which means for leveling purposes, you're always better off using low MP spells, because you can cast more of them per capita.
Remedy.
So in Undane's case, that's Remedy.
Water. Remedy.
One more.
Healing power of Undine. Remedy.
Now I could go ahead and sleep here at the Kippo village there and save. That's what that village is called, off to the left, but I'm going to go ahead and move on. Alright, so let's head on down here. Now we do want to go ahead and level up our weapon, or forge our weapon up to max power. We could do that in the next area, spoiler alert, but I'm just going to do it here while we're here. And that, I think, was it the bow? I can't remember.
I've been waiting. Which way?
For those playing along at home, I'm going to do bow and whip. Okay. So let me show you this now. This is the completion of the first area of the game, and as you can see, we do have so we have 1 gloves orb, 2 swords orbs, 1 axe orb, 2 spears orbs. Let's check that. So basically start at 1, and any orb is going to add to that. So sword and spear are at 2, which means they're going to be up to 3, because they get 1, 2. So that's good. And then what was the other one? Okay, and axe and glove was at 1. Whip is 2, bow is 2. Whip 2, bow 2. Axe and glove are 1 though. Axe is at 1 and glove is at 1, you know, so 2 total. And then finally, let's just double check. Boomerang and javelin, 1 and 1, so that they should both be 2 as well. Boomerang 2 and javelin 2. Perfect. So now we know with confidence going into the next section that we can just we have all of the orbs. Okay. Now one last thing before we go is we do want to go down here and talk to this guy.
Thank goodness you're safe. Even the little one's gotten a bit bigger. You make a dwarf proud. Let me give you this mallet as a thanks for dropping by. It's the least I can do. I used to use it in the show.
Okay, so we got the minor mallet, or what used to be in the original game called the midge mallet, which was a little bit not PC, so they changed it. Good on them for doing the right thing on that. Okay, let's move on. I'm tempted to level Prim's magic up, but we can do that in the next area. We don't have to be caught up completely. So, let's go up to the cannon travel up here, and we may have to go to the other cannon travel to get access to the upper land, the next area. But we'll at least go up here and see. hardly ever charge weapons when I'm in the field like this, unless the enemies are really difficult. Okay, we're at level 3 now. Come on. Alright, there we go. So let's do the bow. Ow. Alright. So, we are back at the cannon trouble now. And we'll go ahead and see what we can do here. We'll do Water Palace, because that's going to be close to the other cannon trouble that we need to go to. And no animation. And we land. I could go get healed and save up at the Water Palace, but I'm gonna save time and move on. Okay, axe level 2. You really do want somebody using the spear in the next area. The spear does this thing. Balloons enemies, which freezes them in place.
Okay.
Next area is going to be fairly difficult until we get established there. It's kind of one of the most transitionary points in the game. You know. So we're going to want to keep our wits about us.
Only the upper land covers a lot. I could get you to the Great Forest, but that's it.
Alright. So we're going to go ahead and head up to the upper land. And this will be a new area for us. Okay. So we have this wintry looking area here.
So this is the Great Forest. You lived around here, right? Glad to be home, huh?
So this is where the sprite is from, kind of generally speaking.
Oh no! I hit my head again when we landed, and I have forgotten the way.
Alright.
Lovely. I suppose we should look around ourselves.
So we have these Moogles here out of place.
Laughing, crying. Pebblers have taken over their village.
Okay. We do have Watts up here, so if we didn't go back to Guy's Navel, we could have just had him forge our stuff here.
I've been waiting.
Alright. So, what we've got here is one of the first two little side quests that we initially encounter in this area. There's 4 little areas in a circle in this area. 4 screens in a sort of round circle pattern, basically. And here's Nico. And that was a Moogle trap, so that's nice. Ow. I gotta change, this. I don't know. I guess the AI is set so that they kind of trigger to attack based on who you attack. And I think that might not be the best idea, but we'll see. These are Silktails, by the way. They're like upgraded Rabbites, and they're actually one of the easier enemies here. So the fact that we're getting kicked in the junk by them right now is kind of a bad sign. And of course, oh, that's good. Oh, that's good. We're running low on MP, and my bad for not restoring myself before I got here, but I'm just gonna do a candy.
Going on a trip?
It's weird to have weapons out when we're talking. Well, it's not that weird, actually.
Special deal for busy travelers.
Let me go ahead and buy. Okay. Now, Nico does sell these Cobra bracelets, but we got them for cheaper back home. There's this quill cap too, and I could probably get 2 of those, and that would be an improvement. So I'll go ahead and get 2 of those. Let's make sure I have one of those. And I did buy a chocolate as well. Chocolate's going to be the new healing item. But let's upgrade our gear just slightly. Oops, sorry. And yeah, that's pretty substantial actually. That helps a lot. The boys' defense is low. Oops, I better save.
Going on a trip? I'm taking a special deal for busy.
In the original game, that bag that Nico carries, I thought it was a sombrero. Because the sprite kind of made it look that way. Okay, these guys are quite a bit harder, and they pack a punch too. But they have a high defense, so you do want to, if you're gonna take one of them on, be ready to kind of focus on them. The Silktails are probably the better enemy to attack for leveling. Now we've already seen these guys, so this is not a huge deal. They do have a high attack though, so you do want to be careful. And that's why it's so useful to have somebody with the spear right here. And you don't have to have a full attack to activate the weapon's ability there. Oh, 158 gold, that's great. Okay, so here is the next area. I guess I better use a candy.
Thanks.
Alright, so this is the village that the Muggles have been kicked out of. Muggles are one of the few points of continuity, because I should not be using gnome on a gnome-based creature. This is kind of a mini boss battle. These guys would be considered pretty hard normally. So but they don't play the boss music either, so it's kind of one of those hybrid situations. But they do pack quite a punch, and they're definitely the strongest enemy in this area that's not an actual boss, so okay. So he got bow up to 2, but he can go up to 3, okay. And how are we doing here? Javelin, good, and spear, good. Okay, so with that, just come down here.
Now the Muggles can come back to the village.
Alright. So now we have a actual kind of village. And now that we talk to these guys, they're gonna tell us something.
What is it?
Wow! Now I can remember everything! Tour through the seasons from spring to winter. Once you reach spring again, the village will appear.
Okay, so they basically gave us a clue there, and I don't know if they said it, but walk the 4 seasons, something before something, spring before winter, spring again, and you may enter. If you recall, we landed in the winter area, then we went through a nice warm area, then we came upon another warm area, and I can tell you that the first warm area we went to is spring, and this one that we came to this village from was summer. We did get a couple of orbs in the meantime, so let's get these up to par.
I've been waiting.
This is one of several points in the game where you Moogle claws. So the glove will now Moogle people, which is another useful property. Okay, so that's that, and then I guess I'll go ahead and save here.
Going
as well.
on a trip? Special deal for busy travelers.
Okay, so we did save. So what you're going to want to do at this point okay, and I did level there finally, so I have MP again to heal, which is very important. And that might be, yeah. Unfortunately, that's the spear. Kind of want to keep using the spear, but I feel a higher obligation to level something else. I'll just switch to the glove. That should have a similar, yeah, okay, it makes people unconscious. It doesn't actually nibble them. Not really sure what the practical difference between unconsciousness and getting ballooned is. Maybe it's the speed at which you recover and which it affects you. Well, they both basically disable you, so... Go ahead and heal up.
Pure water. Thanks.
So what you want to do here, you can level. Leveling's good. You want to jump back to this screen here. This is spring. And you want to start going around this. So I really just popped in there to trigger something. But then you start going around in this direction. And this is going to be... gosh, what direction would this be? Counterclockwise. Ooh, I forgot that this was here. I think oh yeah, there's a cannon travel there. I just screwed up the thing though, so I have to go back to the spring screen. Okay, pigmentization is one status effect, and I can actually deal with it. I just got it twice. Using the minor mallet. It would naturally wear off in, you know, a minute or so, but it makes you so vulnerable to attack that you definitely want to deal with it right away. I guess these are called water bandits in this version. I'm not sure. I think that's a change. Okay, so we have to pop back into spring. This is spring, and then this is gonna. Ooh, I don't know what that was. But that looked very lethal. This is summer. Oops, my bad. The good news is we're making so much more money from these enemies that we can actually afford to take a bit of a hit on equipment. Okay. Okay, we get this new enemy here called the Nemesis Owl. That is a, as we'll see frequently in this area, a wind elemental enemy, or we call it Sylphid in this game. It's the elemental power. Now, this enemy casts something called Confuse on me, which in some games would do other things, but in this game causes an inversion of the control stick. Fairly easy to kill, but also very annoying with the confusion. Alright. So this is autumn, by the way, that we're in. This area. Oh, got the confusion again. Alright. And then this is winter again. And we just need to go to spring, and we can go to unlock the next area. Unless I've screwed something up. I would say these crab guys are probably the hardest enemy in this area for a lot of reasons. They have a really tough attack that has a really large range, and they're hard to hit. There's candy, that's good, that's useful. Another one of these owls. Nice. I'd say if you're gonna take on a crab, do it one-on-one and try to be really careful. They also cast whatever saber that was, which is a spell that this girl can cast actually. You know, I haven't done it a lot, but you know, these saber spells enhance your weapons. Thunder saber is what they're casting. And it turns these guys into snowmen, which is kind of cool. Alright. There's one method of dealing with enemies. Alright, so let's head on down here. And we've activated the opening of the next area. Ow. So we're gonna go ahead and heal up. Oh, and we are caught up on magic officially. We level 2 for all spells for both characters there. So that's pretty awesome. And it's actually funny that that just happened, because we're literally about to get our next spell, and like one screen away from here. So we are right on track. Alright. This is where Sprite comes from. Look at the mini-map up there. You see the little huts?
Whoa, what's going on? The village is in shambles.
What happened here? Hey, there's something there.
So you have to walk up here. And you get this guy. And he's vulnerable to Earth Slide. And honestly, because it's level 2 and because it's elemental weakness, very easy battle. I think it was maybe 3 Earth Slides there, so I mean I could have spaced it out a little bit and had a little bit more fun with them, but nah, I just did that. Okay. And got the boomerang orb. So let's go on ahead. We'll talk to this guy. We have a seed up there, obviously.
Grandpa!
It's the sprite's grandpa, which doesn't make any sense, but whatever.
Wait. That sounds like... Is that you, little one?
Grandpa, what's wrong?
It was the Empire. Their troops attacked us and undid the wind seal.
He has a very wispy,
I was
low energy
in the
voice.
palace at the time. A bright flash took out my sight. But the others...
How terrible!
Thanks, Karen, for that contribution.
Everyone
Prem.
must have gotten away.
Let us up.
Grandpa!
Listen closely, little. We sprites are dependent on, but humans are breaking the seals.
You know what he sounds like?
Seeds.
He sounds
If
like
they succeed,
Quato,
the
or whatever
beast
it was,
of old
from
will be released
Total
again.
Recall.
If mana disappears, we sprites will vanish right along with it. You can't let that happen.
Okay. I'll protect Mana so that everyone can return to the village. Don't worry. I've got a couple underlings that can help.
That's the spirit. If it weren't for my eyes, I'd offer to help. All I can do is offer the services of my Sylphid. Come, Sylphid.
Alright, so here is the next elemental, and pretty good stuff.
I'm entrusting you to these youngsters. They're your new masters now.
As you wish.
So now we have our third elemental, which is great. Alright, so what I'm going to recommend...
To learn what elemental magic works on each crystal orb.
I'm going to recommend...
Use your magic on the orb in this forest to open up. There, you must head north to the cave of the White Dragon. You need that legendary Now go.
Okay, whatever.
Everyone will be back.
If you get tired, come back here.
Okay, so this is basically a
let's get
free
you
end
patched
now.
up. Shall I save the game? Take care.
So I'm going to recommend go ahead and leveling right away her stuff. Now, we don't have the ability to cast that or that, so you have to cast this, and that's not a bad spell. It doesn't do anything harmful. So
Thunder Saber.
And what you're going to want to do... So we're at level 0, so it should be going fairly quickly. But unfortunately, it doesn't quite work out mathematically to be completely efficient. So I guess I will throw in a defender here. Try to get that up to level 3 eventually. Again, the Undyne is going to take care of itself. So I'll show you what that does. So I did, what, 4 of those? So it's 9 apiece. So if I did that 3 times roughly, I'd get a level 1 Sylphid, which I think I will do.
Here,
since
let's get you patched.
this is a free
Shall I
end.
save? Take care.
So just that simple, and then you just kind of rinse and repeat. Probably not the most exciting thing in the world, but it really does give us a bit of an edge going forward. And I really want to get that analyzer up because it's going to be a lot more useful the higher level it gets. And analyzer is basically, it's like looking things up on a Wikipedia, except for before there was the internet. So basically, it's tells you information about enemies, and it tells you information about you know, orbs and stuff like that. So we definitely want that.
Shall I say, take care?
All right, one more. And we'll be up to level 1. I'm just gonna stop at level 1 for now because we have to have something to do in the meantime going forward. We don't want to be out of levels to be aiming for. Okay, and one more. Actually, this might do it. No, one more. This one should do it. There it is. And cast the residual gnome.
Here, let's get you patched up. Shall I save the... Take care.
I mean, you could theoretically just level Karen all the way up here, but I'm not gonna do that. And let me show you this thing. Oh wow. What the hell? Why isn't gnome go? Oh, I know why. I'm an idiot. We have to click on this, and it'll unlock the power of the seed. That is what gives us our max level of 3, not the getting the elemental, but unlocking the seed. So, with the seed, seal gained, which we can look at here at the bottom there, that third little power dot at the bottom. Okay, so now we are capable of leveling up other elementals. Now we were getting 9% per cast for level 0. But I'll show you what we're getting now, just kind of demonstrate this point. We're only getting 8 now, so it's going to take longer to get the higher levels. And you'll see that across the board. I guess I'll finish this one out real quick. Kind of disappointed I didn't get my residual gnome levels there because I didn't click on the mana seed. So that was 4 Thunder Sabers, which is 4 times 8, 32, and then I'll see what gnome. We're at level 2 gnome, and we're doing a spell. In theory, that might do 7%. Let's take a look. Yeah, 7. So it just goes down by 1% each level you get, making it that much harder to get to the next level. Again, though, you know, economically speaking, you just need to cast the lowest cost spell as possible. So we'll go ahead and save with all that leveling that we just did. Unfortunately, Sprite cannot level that easily, so we're going to have to start working the Sylphid spells with Sprite. And really what we want to do, I'll show you the spells that Sprite has access to. These are both damage spells. This is Thunderbolt and Air Blast. I think they both do the same thing, just in different proportions of damage based on cost. It's 2 and 4. And then the Confusion, which we saw earlier, the Owls were casting. What you want to probably do is use your Air Blast. It's a cost of 2, so you can get 7 spells off before recharging. But we're going to go ahead and swing back to the Moogle village. Some of these enemies are Sylphid elementals, so they're not going to be weak to this at all, but it doesn't matter for purposes of leveling. I don't know why they don't attack those. guess I really think maybe I should change this to attack enemies not targeted. See how that goes.
I've been waiting.
Going on a trip? Special deal for busy travelers. Anything be seeing you. Going on a trip? Special deal for busy travelers.